So hello everyone and welcome to Hindu newspaper analysis. Today is 21st of July and let's start the today's newspaper analysis. So in today's newspaper, we'll see some editorials and articles related to our examination point of view. So before we start, let's just discuss two questions. First question is the IUCN status of cheetah. So you have to tell what is the IUCN status of cheetah. Is it endangered? Is it vulnerable? Is it near threatened or not concerned? Second question is which of the following countries are landlocked in South America? So you are given with four options. Here are four countries. So you have to choose the correct answer or correct pair. So let's start today with the editorial analysis. So this editorial talks about the National Research Fund. See, recently government has created National Research Fund, and so this fund will be used for research and development in India. So it is a corpus of 50,000 crore, and this will be spent over the span of 5 years. See, the issue is if we talk about the world average, so on an average, countries spend 5 to 6% of their GDP on research and development. And now we talk about the scenario in our India. It is very concerning that India only spend about 0 to 6, 0.8% of GDP on research and development. So, Indian government has created National Research Fund. So, National Research Fund is a corpus of 50,000 crores, and this will be spent over the span of 5 years. Second important thing here is that the private sector contribution in total research and development in India is only and only 36%. Now see, when US and Israel are today's leading technological nations, here private enterprises spend 70% of the total research and development fund. But in India, it is reverse. Only 36% of the funding is being done by private sector. See, private sector earns profit. So in that profit, they shall spend some amount for certain activities in developmental areas. So these are defined under CSR. So what is CSR? CSR is corporate social responsibility. So in corporate social responsibility, an enterprise who is in the private sector shall spend a certain amount of the profit in corporate social responsibility that will include health, education, sanitation, etc. Now the issue is NRF envision 36,000 crore out of 50,000 crore coming from private sector. And in India, around 40,000 crore is spent in CSR. So there is a huge gap between 40,000 and 36,000. One way to fund NRF from private is to link CSR to NRF, but that will also be not sufficient. So another way would be promoting an ecosystem based on research and development. If you want to promote research and development in universities, you should rather support universities. So government should support universities in research and development and promote the students to build companies that are more in the field of science and technology. When this will happen, this will create an ecosystem. When ecosystem is created, it will boost science and technology. So overall, our aim is to promote science and technology, research and development, but we need for that money. So first, we need to talk about the sources. Second, we need to talk about the ecosystem that can sustain the long term. See, sources are very important to initiate the research and development. Once we have gathered the resources, then there shall be an ecosystem which will sustain the whole system in its place. So, in our NRF, we need provision as to where we are going to source 50,000 crores, and the main source or the critical source 36,000 crore that shall be coming from private sector. How to source it? And second is ecosystem. How to build an ecosystem which is reliable and resilient, so that science and technology, research and development can be promoted in India. So you can take screenshot of this slide. Moving on to next slide. Next editorial talks about data protection bill. See, India has a 1.4 billion population, and there is a huge task for government to maintain the privacy of these individuals. As we know, most of the peoples nowadays are on internet, uses various social media platforms. So maintaining an individual privacy and data protection is a challenge. Since privacy, data protection are rights, so India is trying hard to bring data protection bills or data protection act, and specifically this bill talks about personal data. So see, personal data is a data that can be related to some individual, like your Aadhaar. It is your personal data. It talks about your name. It will talk about your date of birth. It will talk about your address. So all these data can be used for speculations by private players to boost their economic activities. But in economic activities, they're also infringing the personal liberty and personal individual rights. So in that case, there is a need for personal data protection bill. So government is trying to bring this bill. So see, there are two type of data. One is personal data. Second is non-personal data. Personal data, as we discussed, is related to your identity. But non-personal data is not directly linked to your identity. But here non-personal data can be used to infringe your personal data. Non-personal data will include something which is not directly related to it. But if company tries to manipulate the non-personal data, so they could infringe your personal data and your personal privacy. So here in data protection bill, there should be provision for or protection against the company where it can manipulate the non-personal data to infringe your personal data. Now, second thing, this bill talks about data protection board. See, what is data protection board here? See, data protection board will overlook all the complaints relating to the personal data. If someone is violating your personal data and misusing your personal data, that matter can be taken to data protection board. But here the challenge or the issue with the data protection board is that it cannot proceed on its own. Either you need to complain against the individual or company, or second, it will do as per direction of government or court. And here the issue is How can individual know if his data is violated, his data is personal data is violated or being misused? Even if he knows his personal data is misused, how would he gets to know who is the culprit behind it? So here is the issue which data protection bill fails to address. So there still needs to be certain changes, certain proposal in data protection bill so as it become more efficient and protect the personal data more efficiently. So moving on to next news. Now we have discussed two important articles. Now we talk about a few important news, and then we'll see the solution of today's questions. So Manipur violence has been news from last 1 year. So yesterday, what happened? A lady was molested in Manipur. Not even molested, but she was gang raped. So this is a very heinous crime, and it's a very alarming situation in a democratic country like India. So SC has deeply observed that it's very deeply disturbing, and the government should act on it. See, what is happening is Manipur is there are two communities. Majority of them are Meeti, and there are Kukis. Meeti makes 60% of the population, and Kukis make 30 to 40. There are also other tribes in it, but जो Meeti हैं, they contribute 60% of the total population. So here, Meeti, one of the issues is Meeti is demanding scheduled tribe status in the state as per constitution. Also, in Manipur, the main residential area for Meeti is the valley of Imphal. So in Imphal, Meeti communities mostly reside, and these Kukis tribes mostly reside on the hills. These hills are quite close to Myanmar, so there is a lot of immigration from Myanmar to hills of Manipur. So this illegal immigration has led to influx of Chin community from Myanmar. So this Chin community has a ancestral relationship with these Kuki tribes. So after Chin community has came to these hills, now the majority Metis community have started feeling insecure. Now, since they live in the small valley and most of the state area is covered by hills, now they are insecure about the land. That if Chin keeps on continuing and keeps coming into the state, there might be certain time when Miti might not find enough land for their settlements. So these are all issues and that are arising in Manipur. So very complex issue in Manipur, and here Supreme Court is saying that government should, as soon as possible, resolve the issue and stop these crimes. So next news is from Tamil Nadu. See, mm, see there is an important island here, Kacha Thevu. Why important? Because it remains in news most of the times. As we know, Tamil Nadu is a coastal state, so most of the people residing at the coast depends on fishing. So fishermen goes to sea for fishing. But issue is that Kachathevu Island was given by India to Sri Lanka in 1974, and fishermen, if still knows this, doesn't know where the Indian boundary ends, so they unintentionally get into Sri Lankan sea. So here, Sri Lankan Navy will impound their ships, destroy their fish nets, or even imprison these fishermen. So this is the issue that has been in news for past many years, and there is no concrete solution been coming out. So this is maritime zone. This include internal water, territorial sea, contiguous zone, exclusive economic zone. So what is important here is to know exclusive economic zone. See, in exclusive economic zone, country can extract fossil fuels, natural resources from the sea, but here it cannot criticize other country for sailing. Innocent passage is allowed in exclusive economic zone, and it is an international airspace. But when we come near to baseline up to the 12 nautical miles, it is a national airspace. So international flight cannot travel upon this water since it is a national airspace. So these all zones have different regulations like contiguous zone, territorial sea, high seas. So you can pause the video, take the screenshot or make the notes. Next news is again on the cheetah. We have also discussed about cheetah in previous videos. So see, India has relocated cheetahs from Namibia and South Africa to Madhya Pradesh Kuno National Park. Cheetah were originally also present in India, but Asiatic cheetah became extinct in India in year 1952. Since then, there was no cheetah in India, but in year 2021, it was decided that to relocate few cheetahs, African cheetahs, to India. So they were relocated in Kuno National Park, and now the issue has arisen that 40% of the 20 cheetahs have died so far. So Supreme Court is saying that these cheetahs should be relocated to other place since they have been dying for unknown reasons and they are quite out of their climatized zones. See, African cheetahs and Asiatic cheetahs both have different niche as far as their environment is concerned. So there might be challenge of survival for these both species when we try to relocate them in their each other environmental niche. So cheetah is a vulnerable species. This is a very small cat and run up to 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, so moving on to next. So that's all, that was all, and let's discuss the question we uh, saw in the beginning of the video. The IUCN status of cheetah, as we discussed right now, would be vulnerable. Which of the following countries in South America? Following countries of South America are landlocked. So it's Bolivia and Paraguay. B and C. This is South America, and as you can see, this is Bolivia. The capital of Bolivia is La Paz, and this is Paraguay. Asuncion is the capital. So these only two countries in South America are landlocked. So you can see here. So thank you very much for watching this video till the end, and please do like and subscribe the videos if you find the content helpful and share it with your friends. Thank you very much.